13 Hours is directed by Michael Bay and based off the novel 13 Hours written by Mitchell Zuckoff. It stars John Krasinski, James Badge Dale, Max Martini, Pablo Schreiber, Dominic Famusa, David Denham, Toby Stevens, and David Constable. The movie follows the story of 6 security officers working as contractors for the government, for the military, who are protecting an American embassy in Benghazi. On the 11th anniversary of the September 11th attacks, things go wrong. Not as much things go wrong as there's an attack on the embassy, and it's up to these 6 men, and as well as some others, but mostly these 6 men, to keep everyone safe, keep the ambassadors safe, and quell the conflict before innocent lives are lost. This was a really interesting movie for me because Michael Bay is a very, very, very tough director to categorize. He's done some good movies. There are some typical tendencies where you can use Michael Bay. He's bombastic, he's flashy, there's a lot of corniness and cheese in a lot of his movies, but he's done some good movies. He is a great action director in terms of knows how to film action. But a lot of times his movies leave a lot to be desired. Either they try too hard to be funny, or they try too hard to be overly stylized, or he throws giant robots in it all the time like he's been doing with Transformers for a while. A lot of his movies are very much style over subject matter. It's really hard to understand or what he's going for. I mean, he does want to appeal to the masses. That's what his goal is. I mean, he's very blunt about that. He's very honest about it. He doesn't really care if you think his movies are just all show, all service level, because he doesn't care. He's just trying to make money. He's trying to entertain, and that's what he finds entertaining. Going into a movie like this where he's actually handling, for pretty much the first time ever, true subject matter, but he's dealing with real people, a real event, in real lives. The story itself, there are some details that different parties believe different things, but it doesn't matter what you believe. This is a true subject matter, and Bay has long been a supporter of the military, so I was really curious to see how he was going to handle this. Surprisingly, really well. This was actually about the most reserved as Michael Bay's ever been. Now, are there still Michael Bay tendencies? Of course. There's excessive slow motion. There's some pan-ins and pan-ups that are very typical of him. These low-angle shots flashing up the guys walking around and catching the sweat glistening off them. Whether it's men or women, Bay directs to a sexual sort of style. There's shots of guys working out and focusing on their abs. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. People have labeled him as sexist. He doesn't care. He's just going to market things in this glorified, flashy way. That's just what he does. But when there actually are moments away from that, he does know how to take the care to develop this story properly. It does take a little while to get going, which is one of my criticisms of it, but it is an attempt, at least an attempt for Bay, to get you to care about these people, not just as soldiers, but so you can kind of understand that these are regular guys who did a very irregular thing in the face of extreme adversity, and to be courageous and not to do their jobs, but beyond that, above and beyond the call of duty, to perform how they had to in order to save lives. This is actually a very well performed movie. There is a lot of gruffness. There's not necessarily a lot of depth, but there are some emotional scenes that actually really do hit home and actually have a great impact, which I was really surprised by. There is a lot of stuff where he does add, again, typical Bay things. One of the characters in particular, played by Pablo Schreiber, he goes by Tonto, is a very humorous guy, though it actually works in pretty much all the scenes. The humor is there when it needs to be, even amidst the tension. They wait till a cutaway before there's a little back and forth with him and another character, a funny comment, and it actually does bring a lot of levity to the movie, and it feels natural. The only things I can really criticize for the movie actually is the fact that there is an emotional disconnect between a lot of these characters. There are 2 in particular where you feel a little bit of an emotional hook, but the rest of them are kind of brushed over. And actually, of the 6 soldiers that you really spend time with, you really only spend much time with about 2.5 of them. And the other guys are there, but they have some lines here and there. They're not ignored, and their commitment is not questioned in any way. It's just they don't get as much screen time. They don't get as many memorable lines or impactful moments in the movie, which I wish they had, just because they do focus so heavily on just a few of them. But it still does work. John Krasinski was really good. He was really, really good. So was James Badge Dale. This was out, especially for Krasinski. This is very much out of his element. This isn't Jim from The Office. This is a totally different guy, and he really does. He is believable in this role, not only just on a physicality point, but he acts the part. James Badge Dale is great. Pablo Schreiber is great. He actually steals a lot of the movie, especially with his humor. The only issue I have is, again, there are some typical Bay moments that do feel a little out of place, because it does feel so heavily over-stylized amidst what otherwise is really a gritty movie that feels very grounded in a lot of ways. I still really enjoyed the heck out of this, though, and I have to give Michael Bay a lot of credit for not only handling this with care, but delivering a good movie. Scoring this was really tough, because there were some flaws that I had that really did detract from part of the experience, but I still really did like this. I'm actually going to go pretty big on this. I'm going to go with an 8.3. I don't understand all the critical backlash for this. There are, yes, some Bay tendencies, but he sees through most of the time to deliver a really strong, really well thought out, really good looking film, and I really enjoyed it. As a side note, not being political or anything like that. Just want to say, for anyone who watches this, past, present, future military, thank you for all you guys do. This is something that this does pay a lot of homage to the military, and that's something that should be done regardless of your political agenda or political beliefs or any standing on this and that. No matter what you feel about that, these guys give their all, their lives, their families' lives, to keep us safe, no matter what you feel about how the government's doing. So make sure you say thank you to them every single time. It should be more than just Veterans Day for all they do and all that they're willing to do and the sacrifice they make. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy it. 13 hours. Go check it out. Go support the movie. Help support, at least the image of the military at the same time. I'll be posting more reviews as I've seen more movies this year as well. Hopefully Chris and I will do some more videos, including an Oscar prediction, since those results, the nominations were just released a few days ago. So if you want to follow on social media, I'll put all the information below there, and check you guys next time. Thanks.